Alongside Olga Villaverde, J.D. Hayworth welcoming you back to America's Forum. Let's also welcome back in Larry Kobilinsky, forensics and DNA expert, and also attorney Adam Thompson. They join us from Newsmax, New York. Larry, law enforcement personnel are now trying to connect several other missing women in these cases, possibly connected to Matthew. What specifically are they looking for before they can say that this man was definitely involved?
Well, what we know thus far is that there's a clustering of these cases, all in a relatively small geographical area. Although the victims are not of the same ethnicity, it's somewhat mixed. They're all about the same age, 18 to 20 years old. And I believe sexual assault is a component here. So how do we connect the dots? Well, we do have a national database called CODIS. There's actually the national database, which is controlled by the FBI. There's a state database, and local counties have their own database. This is how you link crimes. If you know that a rape was committed at point A and a murder was committed at point C, it's the software that allows a linkage to occur. So what they're connected, and police are going to be looking at sexual assaults, missing people. There is a special database of missing people, so we're well prepared to deal with this, but it's the unknown. How many other cases are out there? Maybe women who have gotten raped who never went to the police because they feared for their lives. This may just be the tip of the iceberg, because remember, it started in around 2002, where Jesse was accused of rape at Liberty University, and it brings us up to Hannah Graham here in 2014. 12 years, that's enough time to have a lot of victims. So I think police are putting the dots together. It's DNA evidence that's going to allow them to do it.
And gentlemen, we want to talk about the use of DNA mouth swabs being taken from people arrested in connection with serious crimes. In fact, last year, the Supreme Court ruled 5-4 in favor of policy. Justice Scalia voted against it. In fact, he wrote, and I'm going to quote here, "I doubt that the proud men who wrote the Charter of Our Liberties would have been so eager to open their mouths for royal inspection. I therefore dissent and hope that today's incursion upon the Fourth Amendment, like an earlier one, will someday be repudiated." Adam, let me bring you in. Is this a valuable tool for investigating unsolved crimes or a violation of the Fourth Amendment, sir?
It's absolutely a valuable tool for law enforcement because it could link a suspect to a crime almost definitively, like a fingerprint. Criminal attorneys are outraged about this because every defendant has the right against self-incrimination. You don't have to make statements against your own interests or offer evidence against your own interests. By allowing police and law enforcement to do this, you're basically doing that. Like, if you knew you were involved in some crime and then recovering DNA evidence could be a direct link to you and that crime, then basically it's lights out, ball game is over, because they were able to obtain that sample. So it is an infringement to some degree on the Fourth Amendment, but the Supreme Court has already ruled, so that's a settled issue now.
Well,
you have to remember, it's not intrusive. It's not an intrusive procedure. And secondly, we know of no cases where it's ever been abused. The FBI keeps a very tight grip. Not everybody can even look at the database. You have to be authorized. So I don't think that the fears of the ACLU or any other group concerned about their rights, I don't think there's anything to fear. It's just never been abused.
But Larry, let me ask you this. Is there another way to get that DNA evidence without the mouth swab?
Oh, sure. Absolutely. The police are known for getting surreptitious samples. You see a potential suspect, a person of interest, you give him, perhaps you're interrogating him, or you may follow him around. You give him something to drink, or he may be drinking out of a glass of orange juice. You secure that glass, you've got his DNA. Saliva has a lot of cells, and you've got his DNA. Either surreptitiously or, by trickery, you can gain that DNA. It's what we call pseudo-exemplars. So you can already start an investigation even before you've collected a cheek swab. And of course, anything biological has your DNA, including your hair. And I think that is key in the Hannah Graham case. I do believe that hair plays a role in part of this linkage.
Well, gentlemen, we will have to leave it there. We thank you very much for an insightful discussion. We will continue to monitor events in Virginia. If in fact this turns out to be a serial killer, we will be calling on you again in the days ahead. Larry Kobilinsky, forensics expert from John Jay, and our friend Adam Thompson. Thanks so much. Adam, your background as an attorney, helping us with the whys and wherefores of the Constitution and how to apply it. Gents, again, we appreciate your time. Now, you heard from these two learned gentlemen about the possibilities. What's your take? Why don't you tweet us your comments at NewsMax TV, #America's Forum. We'll be right back.